Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about every episode of Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So, we're up to the third episode now, and yes, I have been delayed. Unfortunately, I got very ill and I just couldn't film because, wow, it felt like I was actually going at warp speed. But aside from that, we're back on track. So I'm going to say that I have been looking forward to this episode. When I saw the clips in the previews showing that Captain Kirk was back, that was quite cool. Very interesting way that they brought him back, though. So this is the second time we've seen this new actor playing Kirk, and for the second time we're in an alternate timeline. It's very interesting. Are we only ever going to see James T. Kirk in alternate timelines so that we don't affect anything about the actual core canon character? That would be interesting if that's true, because I do like that idea. Exploring characters, but from different perspectives, is very good. The entire episode is very good, in fact. It's one of those episodes where I was right in it from the start because it seemed very interesting. Actually, no, I can't back that up, because you've got to remember, I have a bit of an issue with Lan Noonien Singh because she's not been established properly as a character. She's basically Lieutenant Grumpy Pants, and I don't like that. But by the end of this episode, I liked the character. So, a bit of foreshadowing there. She has an actual character arc. We see why she's always so standoffish and so grumpy, because she's basically barely holding on. She's got a lot of guilt, a lot of resentment, a lot of issues that are welling up inside her, and she's basically trying to hold on to that as hard as possible. So, this episode explores that and actually makes her a more rounded character as a result. So I really did like that part of the show, and the actress got a chance to actually do some acting, which is nice. The character of Kirk, a little bit cocky. I'm not sure he was really James T. Kirk. He felt more like young Picard, which was quite interesting. If you remember Tapestry from Next Generation, where we see young Picard, and it turns out he's a cocky git who's always getting into fights and runs his mouth a little more than he should. Yeah, that felt a little bit like what this James Kirk was. I mean, of course, he's from a different timeline where his brother's dead, and spoilers, in this show, I don't do spoilers, so you just be warned. But yeah, his brother's dead, and his entire world is gone. He grew up in space, all of this stuff. So he's a very different character. He's far more emotions on the surface, ready to punch people kind of captain. But I still like the fact that one of the first things he does is think his way out of an issue, where in the past, we need money. We don't have money. How do I get money? And he goes straight there and does the chess thing. Kirk is a character who can think 5 steps ahead, and it always is. He outthinks Khan, one of the greatest intellects of all time. Hello, Captain. Khan! Do you have to do that every time I meet you? Yes! He outthinks pretty much every Klingon he comes across. He is a smart character. He's not the punch, 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 we come in peace, shoot to kill kind of guy that is often stereotyped. He's a thinking captain. And to actually show that and embrace it and have it central to solving some of the issues in the show was excellent. That was great. I loved that. There was one bit that I didn't love. I'm sorry, but the immortal character claiming that the Federation is some socialist utopia, that really annoyed me, because for 2 reasons. 1, it misunderstands socialism, and 2, it misunderstands the Federation. The Federation is not socialist. The Federation is from a post-scarcity society where you can just generate food, clothes, and whatever you need out of thin air. Or at least, at this point in the timeline, it's getting toward that. It is certainly past the singularity point. So all of our modern day, even though actually socialism is a 19th century thing, all of our modern day ideas of politics and factionalism, none of that applies in the 23rd and 24th centuries. The Federation is not socialist. It's not capitalist. It's not communist. It's not any of those, because those indicators don't apply anymore. And to suggest they do is a fundamental misunderstanding of the Federation, and also a misunderstanding and a misapplication of our modern labels. So I didn't like that. That was bad. The rest of the show, though, really good. It's like it goes very, very linearly. It's a very simple plot in the whole, but it works so well that it doesn't matter. And there are some good twists. I expected the camera woman not only to be like the standard person you see in the past where you join up and team up with them. We've seen that pretty much every time the Federation people go back in time. We end up teaming up with someone from the era to kind of explain the society to the Federation people, but also to help move the plot along. I thought that's what she was going to be. And she does act like that to a certain extent, but good plot twist. Really enjoyed that. That was good. Kirk being shot, that was actually quite a shock. That was a good twist as well. And like I say, the plot development for Lon, making her a rounded character, excellent. Really, really enjoyed this episode. I wasn't actually that keen on seeing Khan, but I did like the way that it was established that there are certain points in the timeline that must happen, but they can happen at different points. Like the Romulan woman saying, oh, Khan was supposed to be 92. Yes, thank you for acknowledging that. In the original series, that's when it was, Space Seed and all of that, and that's the original timeline. But that it could be moved, that is important. So we have all this stuff about the Temple Cold War. That was great. Actually explaining the differences in the timeline. All of that. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. The one thing that I think could have happened better, and it kind of is pushed on it a little bit, where the camerawoman says, blah, 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 you're just harassing him because he's American and all of that, suggesting that America is going through a point where people are emigrating, or at least moving to Canada, maybe not emigrating, just illegal immigration, you never know, because America is becoming the pre-World War III hellscape that we saw in Star Trek Picard. That was good. I would have liked a little bit more about that to actually embed it with those two series, since they're so close from our perspective. It was only a couple of years ago when we saw that in Series 2 of Picard. But aside from that, not a bad thing. So, what can I say on the whole? Really good episode, good character piece, excellent explanation of why the timeline keeps changing, and the Third World War moves back and back and back. Same way that in Terminator, Judgment Day could move back and back and back, but it's still got to happen. That kind of slightly malleable but still elastic timeline. Really enjoyed that. What can I say? It was a good episode. Probably the best episode of this season. Very much on a par with the final episode of Season 1, which I also adored. And it's very interesting that both of the best episodes, in my view, have Kirk in them. It's almost like he's integral to Star Trek. But guys, I have to say, I'm going to move away from the phases idea of scoring, because out of 10, well, that really feels like a TNG-style warp scale, doesn't it? So out of a range of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, I'm going to give this Warp 10. Absolutely fantastic episode. I would have knocked it down a little bit for the socialism thing, but it's like blink and you miss it, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much in terms of score. It was a bad point, but it doesn't actually affect the story, so Warp 10. Excellent episode. Really enjoyed it. I'd love to see more like this, but of this caliber, that would make Strange New Worlds even better in my view. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I said before, I'm trying to keep these short and to the point. This is TrekHammer quick reviews. Take care. Happy trekking, and remember to like, comment, subscribe and all that, because otherwise YouTube will destroy the channel and eat it and serve you up some ridiculous whatever. If you don't like a type of video, then YouTube will serve it up instead, because that's the kind of thing it does. Okay guys, take care. I'm ranting now. Bye for now. Live long and prosper. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.